Hey, what's going on? It's Jerry Glean back on the scene here with another video. Today I'm going to be showing you how to get the best auto-tune settings for your vocals. So let's hop right in and get to it. So I have AutoTune pulled up here on my vocal, and let me start out by saying that there are different versions of AutoTune that are available. You don't necessarily need to use this specific version that I'm using here. This is AutoTune Effects. Some versions have more features than others, but pretty much every setting that I'm going to show y'all should be available on any pitch correction plugin. And the first thing that you want to do is you want to set the correct key for your song, so that way AutoTune can keep your vocals in tune with your song. So up here at the top of the AutoTune plugin is where you can set the key and the scale of your song. And if you don't know what key your song is in, then I can show you a trick to manually set the key. So just go ahead and pull up a piano plugin. Any plugin or keyboard will work. I have FL keys pulled up here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna play the beat, and if you notice here at the bottom of the AutoTune plugin, it shows us all of the available notes that our vocal could possibly go to. So C all the way to B. And so we're gonna play the beat, and we're gonna use FL keys, the piano plugin, to play each of these notes on top of the beat. And if it sounds good, then that means that that note is gonna be included in the key of our song. And so we're gonna leave it highlighted here at the bottom of the AutoTune plugin. And if a note sounds bad, then you can right click on that note down here, and that's gonna gray it out. And that means that that note is not in the key of our song. So our vocal will not be allowed to go to that note. So let me press play and I'll show y'all how it's done. Okay, so I played a C there and it sounded good, so I'll leave that highlighted, and next we'll go to C sharp. So C sharp did not sound good, so I'm gonna right click C sharp and remove it, and then next I'm gonna go to D. So D sounded good, I'm gonna leave it highlighted. Next I'm gonna go to D sharp. D sharp did not sound good, I'm gonna right click D sharp and remove it. Next I'm gonna play E. Okay, so E sounded good right there. I'm gonna leave it as is, and just to speed up the tutorial, since you already get the gist of what we're doing here, I'm gonna go ahead and right click and remove the notes that I know are not within the key of my song. So basically down here at the bottom of the AutoTune plugin is where you're gonna control what notes your vocal is allowed to go to, and AutoTune will correct the pitch to get it as close to that note as possible. And if you already know the key of your song and you select it up here, then these notes down here will already be pre-chosen for you. Something else to mention is that at the top of the AutoTune plugin, there's a couple of different voice types that you can choose from. For me, selecting low male has always worked best for the tone of my vocal, but just make sure to experiment with that, and whichever one sounds best to your ears, go ahead and select that one. Okay, the next setting that you need to become familiar with is what's called the retune speed. You can see me moving this retune speed knob right here, and this is going to control how fast AutoTune gets your vocal to the correct pitch. So the more right you go with the retune speed and the closer you get to 0, the more robotic your vocal will start to sound, and you'll start to get that T-Pain effect. And the more left you go with the retune speed knob, the less noticeable the AutoTune will become. Where you decide to set this knob is completely up to you and the vibe of your song, and if you're a pretty good singer and have a good vocal performance, then just a little bit of AutoTune can go a long way. Let's go ahead and press play, and I'm gonna experiment with the retune speed and find a good setting for my vocal.
Broken down on the side of the road, withered away, I was stranded alone. Wonder if I could find a string to make my way out of the rain tonight. There she goes with the wind in her hair, elegant with such a serious stare.
So as y'all probably heard, I aggressively turned up the retune speed to the fastest setting possible, and my vocals started to sound weird and robotic. So I slowly turned it back down, and right there at about 50, the AutoTune effect sounded the best on my vocal. I felt like I was already pretty good with my pitch, and being that this is an acoustic song, I don't really want to have that AutoTune effect too noticeable. So right there at about 50 sounded good, and I just encourage y'all to experiment with the retune speed and really try to find what sounds best to your ears. Let's go ahead and play the vocal by itself again, and that way you can really hear what the AutoTune is doing to the vocal.
Please don't go, 'cause flowers don't bloom in the fall, no. And when the seasons change, we could rearrange and see what the future holds, yeah.
All right, so that's it for today. I hope y'all learned something. If you're still confused about anything, just leave a comment and I'll get back to you as soon as I can, and I'll see y'all in the next video.